don't doom. Okay? Don't doom. The reason for that is very simple. If we doom, there is no way we're going to enjoy the game. And ultimately, I think you guys want to enjoy the game. I think we all want to enjoy the game. We all like the game. We wouldn't be here if we didn't like the game. Okay? And, yeah, this patch is not what we wanted. It isn't. It's still a difficult time for ArenaNet. I was certainly expecting it to be fairly low content this year. Seems like that is going to be the case. However, I think it is worth noting, we are getting another patch in 3 months' time, which will be similar to this one. Maybe even a little bit more. Maybe we'll have an Omega boss, who knows. And there's a Fractal coming as well. And ultimately, we are going into an expansion. And I really would encourage you gamers to accept Guild Wars 2 for what it is. Right? Are we ever going to get Omega content? Probably not. However, let's focus on what's actually important here. The game is fun. Right? We enjoy the game. Our friends play the game. We have a great community. And we have fun. We entertain ourselves. Right? You know, every day, guys, I put on the stream and we have fun. You know, we talk shit. We meme it up a little bit. We run stuff with the community. We play with the gang. We have a good time. Right? And that's what we should focus on. We should focus on that. We should focus on the exciting things that we're doing. You know, like pushing ourselves to get better at the game, achieving our goals within the game, having a little bit of fun, looking forward to the next content, looking forward to the balance patches, all that kind of stuff. And just taking the content as it comes. That's how it is. That's how it is. Don't be a doomer. And at the end of the day, guys, if you are full doom and you genuinely think that, you know, this is basically a disaster and it's over, then I really, really would encourage you to uninstall the game and go and play something else. And if that means not watching my stream, then hey, at the end of the day, I respect that. You should always prioritize your, you know, mental well-being first. Don't prioritize a game over your mental well-being. Don't prioritize a streamer over your mental well-being. And what makes you happy and what you enjoy. Trying to convince more the viewers or yourself? It's the viewers. I don't need convincing. To be honest, a patch like this doesn't really bother me because my enjoyment of the game is no longer directly contingent on the content released within the game. All of my enjoyment is entirely from Hardstuck and content creation in general and my friends. But no, I'm very much... I don't really mind if the... You know, at the end of the day, if this patch was definitely underwhelming to me. But, again, that's not how I enjoy Guild Wars 2. I enjoy Guild Wars 2 because of the meta, right? Of what the things that I do outside of the game, right? Because of, you know, of the community I have, because of streaming, because of making videos on YouTube. You know, I really love to try and make you guys laugh and help you do things and hopefully, you know, be entertaining while also maybe teaching you a little something or two about Guild Wars 2 and making something. I enjoy making things, right? And I would really encourage everyone to try and do the same, right? I know it sounds like a little bit of a shill move, but it's generally just like a good piece of advice. Like, I've been there too, guys, right? Yeah, I bully Sneb about his StarCraft gameplay every single day. That's actually true, by the way. But look, when I was playing Guild Wars 2 for content, this was kind of back in 2019. I was miserable, guys. I was totally miserable. And the reason for that was very simple. It was because the game was not producing very much content. And it definitely looked like the game was over. And the content slowed down. The quality really wasn't there. There was no communication. All hope was lost, right? It was a bad time. But then I changed my frame of reference. I changed my perspective. And I focused on things that were within my control, right? Things that I could change. and things that I found enjoyable, which at the end of the day was streaming, right? Streaming and content creation has always been like a really big part of my gaming experience, to be honest, because it just is, right? And focusing on that and thinking more about community and trying to find activities that I enjoy in the game and some goals that I can set, like doing stuff like world's first races, running tournaments, making a community website, making stuff like Hardstuck, right? And just associating with friends, right? I've got a lot of friends in the game, and even though, yeah, sure, the game doesn't always release a lot of content, it's still fun because I play with friends, right? And we have a good time, and, just socializing with other human beings is pretty fun. Yeah, you've got to play for you guys, and you've got to find the things in the game that you enjoy. No amount of content will ever be enough, guys. You'll always burn through it quicker than the devs can make it. You've got to find something in the game that isn't just the game that keeps you playing. Or just take a break between updates, right? And go and play some other games where you can find those things. At the end of the day, that's what you've got to do. That's what you've got to make happen. And again, I really want to say this, guys. Take it from me. I am actually the least stressed and least discontent I've ever been with Guild Wars 2. See, and that's not a joke. That's not a joke, guys. I am not bothered by the state of the game whatsoever. And I enjoy the game almost more than ever. The only time I enjoyed the game more was actually in Heart of Thorns when I had my World versus World guild, because I love that game mode, and, I really, really enjoyed having, like, a really active World versus World community. Right? But other than that, this is the most I've enjoyed the game. And I'm genuinely, seriously guys, I'm genuinely excited to get up and turn on the stream. And, do stuff like, the Zero Day Hero. Do stuff like the Guild Wars 2 boot camp, right? Or chat with Sneb about whatever we're talking about. Or tea time. I'm always excited to just, get on there and chat with people about the game and get on tea time. And, of course, not everyone's going to be a streamer. Right? Not everyone's going to be a streamer. But there are other things you can do too, right? The community aspect, the meta aspect, that is what you guys need to get into. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit rough. But yeah, I really would encourage people to think about it from that perspective. I really would. Because, and again, I'm not shilling for the game here, guys. Anyone who knows me knows that, to be frank, guys, I am actually one of the most critical voices in the Guild Wars 2 community about the game. This is something that is widely known about me historically as well, and of course in the present day. Take it from me. If you take it from someone who's been there, done that, and worn a single t-shirt for 5 years. If you guys want to enjoy this game, if you want to have fun, if you don't want to be miserable, then find something in the game that you enjoy and do it. Meet people, talk to people, build something, find that thing that grabs you and holds you, or take a break. And then only play when there's a patch. And just take it from me. That's the way to do it. If you find yourself not having fun, you have two options. You can change your perspective and find something meta, like community, or trying something new, or setting a personal goal, or hell, getting into content creation, streaming. I think that can be fun. Even if you don't really plan on doing it seriously, I think streaming is a lot of fun, actually. Something like that. Make that happen. Get involved with Hardstuck. Hey, come and run some meta trains for us. Come and help us make the website, right? Get involved and, have something. Have a special thing that you've created. That's a lot of fun. But if you ever find yourself not having fun, you've either got to do that and change your behavior, or you have to leave the game and just, play it intermittently whenever there's content. Because let me tell you this, guys. I've been here since the very beginning. Guild Wars 2 is changing, but it's not going to change that much. We're never going to be getting the level of content as World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy. That's not going to happen. The game is not going to change enough for you to enjoy the game in the kind of like what you're looking for. You're going to have to change, or you're going to have to change the way you engage with the game. I will explain why this is the case. Why do people doom? Let's explain the doomers, guys. So, people want to play Guild Wars 2 as their only game. People they want to be excited about Guild Wars 2. So, Here's a great example, Isa. You guys know Isa, right? He's like one of the big doomers about the game, and he really likes raid content. He really is enjoying Final Fantasy right now, I believe, because they have a lot of raid content there. Here's the thing. Isa thinks Guild Wars 2 is a better game than Final Fantasy. The combat system is better. I think he prefers the community here because he has a lot of his friends, like Diaxon, for example. Who's, oh, too bad, Diaxon's playing Lost Ark, but this is where he built his community. And he thinks the game overall has more to offer than Final Fantasy. The problem is that Guild Wars 2 does not deliver enough content for someone like Isa to actually enjoy the game. Okay? And he wants that to change. Because ultimately, given the opportunity, Isa would leap at the opportunity to play the game every day and grind it hard and go all in. That's why the Doomer mentality comes out, and that's why people stick around. Is because they really want to play the game, because they ultimately really like the game, they love the game. And they view it as superior. But the content is where, basically retaining those players and building that community, building that scene for a particular demographic of players, it requires a lot of content. Yeah, and Isa now confirms that he's in the chat, right? That's what's going on here. That is why, that's the mentality. That's why people complain. And that's why people doom, ultimately. It's because they want it, but it isn't here. And they feel like it's a waste of potential. It's, you know, a waste of what the game could be. And this is a bit fallacious. You can't cling on to a vision or a dream of what you want the game to be. You can't go, oh, but the game could be this, or it should be that. You cannot do this, guys. You simply cannot do this. You must accept the game for what it is. You must. You must. And if you can't do that, you're never going to enjoy the game. If you kind of can't accept the reality of the situation and the way the game is, you will not be able to enjoy it. Which sucks, but it is what it is. And yeah, Candleed is correct here, of course. You can't expect, well, especially if you don't have a community manager, you can't expect people to be able to understand why the current state of the game is not conducive to releasing not a lot of content. Because ArenaNet have had like a really rough couple of years dev-wise, but honestly, you can't expect the consumer to actually understand that. Because ultimately, it's not the consumer's problem. I hate to say that, guys, but if you put your consumer hat on, if ArenaNet say, yeah, we've had a tough time developing the game, consumer says, consumer hat ain't my problem, because it isn't, right? And that is something that I think is also worth remembering here, guys. I am just saying that, you know, we should kind of accept things and, you know, not go too crazy about it. But don't you ever forget, guys, that you are the consumer, and it ain't your problem if ArenaNet have got development difficulties. That's their problem. Corporations and companies are companies. They are not your friends. You don't have to be on friend terms with them. If they're doing something that you don't like, right, then that's the way it is. If they're having problems, well, you know, that's not your problem. Yes, accept it. This is a very good way of putting it, Lizzie Monsieur, for sure. Accepting it is very different than saying, I'm okay with it staying like this forever. Or I want it. Or rather, I want it to stay like this forever. I don't. I want Guild Wars 2 to release more content. I want them to get to the point where they're releasing, you know, a strike mission with every update. I mean, that's some serious hopium there, but that's what I want to see. But I understand that right now that's probably not feasible for them because of their development difficulties, right, that they've been having over the past couple of years and radical shift in direction. I can accept that and go, yeah, I really hope they're going to eventually push forwards and, you know, and get to a higher amount of content. Right, that's absolutely doable. Right now, I'm interfacing with the members of the community who played the game for ages and are concerned about the future of the game. Which, by the way, is a lot of players. A lot of Guild Wars 2 players are veterans, right? There's a huge amount of players, especially on Twitch, right, and everywhere like that, where people have been playing for ages, right? We've been playing for ages, right? So I'm interfacing here because ultimately, guys, I do care about the Guild Wars 2 community. And I want to try and set people's minds at ease and help them enjoy the game, because I don't like it when people aren't having fun and when people are stressed out or distressed about the game. That's never, like, fun for me to experience. So I'm trying to address that. However, if you're a new player, all of these complaints are irrelevant. I would, especially because of the way the game works, basically, like, old content doesn't become irrelevant because there's no vertical progression. If you're a new player, you've got a minimum of, like, 1,000 to 2,000 hours of gameplay before you'll ever notice any of these problems. I'm just addressing this because it is a really hot topic, and obviously, the people who speak up and drive the narrative in the game are the veterans. That's the way it always works, right? So I think it's really important to actually address that narrative and not run away from it. I can be all positivity and all shine, but that's going to make me look incredibly disingenuous, right? Because if I'm going to be ignoring, like, the really big discourse that's being driven by people who played the game for, like, you know, thousands of hours and who aren't happy with how things are going, that just makes me look ridiculously dishonest, right? So obviously I'm going to address that. I'm going to address that promptly. I'm going to try and address that as well as I possibly can and, you know, interact with this section of the community.